Welcome to the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. You can catch us Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific on FS1. Here's what this podcast is all about. It's an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the day's show, and there is a lot to get into in today's podcast. Skip calls out the entire New York football Giants as an insufferable bunch of whiners. Shannon claims LeBron sent a direct message to Phil Jackson last night from the blowout victory to the water bottle challenge. More Mountain Dew is on the line today as the guys make their Thursday night football picks. Plus, Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard came back to tell us after watching last night they might jump through the gym, they're shiny, but they will break Skip's heart because the Clippers can't get past the Warriors. And former standout point guard Baron Davis jumps in to talk about his Black Santa Company and another UCLA guard, Russell Westbrook. What's on your mind, Skip?
Joy, I want to congratulate Shannon Sharpe for finally getting a prediction right on this show. He always picks the favorites. I almost always pick the underdogs. He picked the favorite last night. The Golden State Warriors and the Clippers did not show up.
Hold on.
Way to go.
No. Are you going to give me a credit by how many points I say they would win by?
I don't remember.
I said they would win 122-118. What did they win by?
118. I lost track.
I said they would win 122-104. What was the final score?
Well, I don't know. You tell me. You know. I don't even care what the...
What was the final score, Skip?
You know what it was? It was 37-18. That was the final score because that was the first quarter score, and that was all I cared about.
The Cavs had an easy night on the road, routing the Knicks by 32. LeBron James had 25 points and sat out the entire fourth quarter. Near the end of the game, LeBron and some of his teammates played the water bottle challenge on the bench.
Oh, way to go, LeBron.
And a little bit on the court as well. I don't know, it just went right on the court. This came just a day after Phil Jackson's non-apology to LeBron for his posse comments. Here's LeBron after the game.
My motivation is just the love of the game and the process. That's my motivation every single day. The process on how I can get better every day, how our team can get better every day, and then just the love of the game.
For the love of the game. That's why he do what he do.
Yep.
Do you believe LeBron's performance last night had nothing to do with Phil Jackson?
I do not. I'm going to call baloney on LeBron, but this time in a good way. Because the truth is, LeBron didn't want to give Phil Jackson the satisfaction of hearing LeBron say, Phil, that game was for you.
Right.
But I'm going to say it, Phil, that game was for you. And the point was, so was that silly little game within a game that we just saw there with the video, which was the bottle tossing game that came on the bench, initiated by LeBron James at the end of the on-court blowout.
Water bottle challenge.
Yeah.
Water bottle challenge.
You got it. LeBron said, as we just heard, that he takes pride in the way he plays basketball because he knows his kids are watching. So, Shannon Sharpe, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So playing bottle toss on the bench is the example that he wants to set for his kids. So making a melodramatic dive onto the floor to retrieve said bottle before the play comes back down to that end of the court, that's what he wants his kids to emulate during their games when they're blowing out their opponents.
Yep.
Nope, that's not what he wants. That was just LeBron's way of rubbing it in on Phil Jackson. LeBron has the highest basketball IQ of anybody playing basketball today, and he knew exactly what he was doing because he knows he's going to be on camera when he dives onto the floor after said bottle.
Yes.
LeBron was saying, Phil, I got so little respect for this sorry team you've built. I'm going to play the bottle toss game. What do you call it? The
Water bottle challenge.
Water bottle challenge at the end of this game, so I don't even have to watch garbage time played by your New York Knicks.
Yes.
And this time, I'm telling you, I'm saying this in a very positive light. I was okay with LeBron playing spin the bottle or whatever bottle it was because Phil Jackson deserved it in his own house.
Yeah, absolutely. I do not believe. I love Bron. You know how I love Bron.
No, you love Bron.
I love me some Bron.
Did you put his jammies on last night?
Man, I love me some Bron. I was watching that. I was like, Bron, you got to do it.
Yeah.
Bron's lying. Bron wanted to give it to Phil Jackson so bad. Because the one thing I know about athletes, when they're upset at something you've said or something you've done to them, and they get a chance to get back at you, not only was LeBron trying to be disrespectful, he was openly and blatantly disrespectful. Because this is what I think of you, Phil Jackson, and your team. Me and my teammates, Kyrie, Kevin Love, we're going to sit out the entire fourth quarter and we're going to flip the bottle, spin the bottle, whatever you call it. We're just going to play games. Yeah. Well, the Knicks were playing a game. They were playing the Mannequin Challenge. Because if you didn't notice,
that's true.
The Cavaliers went 22 of 40 from three-point line.
Yep.
And when they're playing like that, Skip, you talk about unbeatable, they're unbeatable.
You know what? They are. When your bench makes 11 threes to go with your starters 11, hey, if any team makes 11 threes for a game, you got a real shot.
Yes.
But when you make 22 starters and bench 11 and 11, it's game over, man.
And LeBron, think about it. This is the first time in LeBron's career he's not leading the team in scoring or shot attempts. He scored 25 on 10 field goal attempts and did not play the fourth quarter.
What was he, 7 of 10?
7 of 10.
That'll work.
Oh, Skip, and you saw Phil, he's up there with his glasses on, leaning over there.
Yeah.
LeBron said, oh, yeah, take this.
Yeah.
Oh, that old Kiki kid.
Yeah.
And LeBron said, Here, Kevin Love, put this 3 in his eye. Shut up. Here, Kyrie, put this 3 in his eye. Shut up. Now, so guess what, Phil? While you doing all this talking, you talk about this and the triangle, and you don't care what offense your coaches run, but you're always trying to implement the triangle. Guess what? Enjoy that anywhere between 5 and 8 seed. That's the best you can hope for, and you're gone in the first round.
Yep.
You agree or disagree?
Oh, totally agree.
So let me ask you a question. Cavaliers play like they played last night. They shoot lights out. I mean, they're leading the league in 3 points made per game. They play like that, and they play the Warriors. You're taking the Warriors, aren't you?
They're not going to make 22 threes against the Warriors because they're going to have hands in their
They made
faces.
25 against the Hawks last. Hold up, did you see us come 3-1?
Us?
Hold up, Skip.
Us?
Why are you so upset at us?
Us?
Okay. Why are you so upset at LeBron?
At LeBron? I'm not upset.
He gave me a T-shirt.
You should bring in your honorary ring.
He gave me a T-shirt. I got a calf sweat jacket.
Okay.
I got some shorts.
Can we at least keep this in some perspective that the poor Knicks did have to play back-to-back at Miami Heat the night before, right? And they beat the Heat down in Miami, and then they had to come all the way back to play LeBron, who got to rest for a night in New York City getting ready for this game. Yeah. So it was a little bit advantaged LeBron's team. But don't try to give me what LeBron did to the Knicks and compare it to what the Warriors did to the Clippers.
No. You know what? You're right. He didn't. I mean, LeBron only had 25. I think he had 25, 8, and 6. And against the Warriors, all he averaged was 29, 11, 8, 4, and 3. So you're right. He did better against the Warriors in 7 games than he did against the Knicks in 1 game. Okay.
So just a few nights ago, LeBron's team lost at Milwaukee, where the Spurs just won the other night. So I don't know. I know it's just December, but I don't know.
How many games have San Antonio lost?
Lost?
Yeah.
Total?
Yeah.
4.
More than. Well, we'll see y'all.
We
will see your team.
You better hope you don't see my team, because my team is the one team you can't beat.
I'm not going to see your team, because Golden State going to take care of them.
I mean, unless Ray Allen comes out of retirement. Is he going to come back? I don't know.
Done.
If they can re-sign Ray Allen, I'll give you a shot.
Well, what about, see, you always talk about, is Kawhi in the clutch? Because he did miss those 2 free throws.
Now
and Ginobili missed 1 too.
So that was a long time ago. That was
so how long ago was
2013.
So how long ago was Ray Allen shot? I think it happened in that same series.
Well, I just remember 2014 when LeBron's team got blown off the floor by my Spurs by a record NBA Finals margin. A record margin. How do you explain it?
I remember
How do we explain it over there?
Because I was over there, I was daydreaming. I was like, oh, man, just 2016, I need to get the Warriors. I need LeBron to do this team in that 73-9 with the 2-time MVP, the last time unanimous, and I need him to be down 3-1. I said, that's all I'm asking for. Just go down 3-1, LeBron, because I know what you're going to do.
You know that Draymond, you predicted Draymond was going to get suspended in Game 4.
And he's still kicking people in the head. Did you see him kick James Harden in the head?
I did.
Is that a natural basketball move? So who shoots a jump shot and kicks somebody in the head?
Well,
Draymond.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Skip, you know
So who calls LeBron the name that Draymond called him? Everybody. I don't know. Everybody.
But you know what he calling him? You know how he called him? He say that 3-time champion.
No, he didn't. No, I didn't hear that part. I just heard one 5-letter word. That's all I heard.
Call me whatever you want to, but whatever you call me, make sure you put all my adjectives, all my nouns, all my adverbs before you say 3-time Finals champ, 3-time Finals MVP, 4 times MVP of the league. So whatever you call me before that, just long as you finish it up with that.
That's not what I heard that night in Game 4 when LeBron disappeared down the stretch and they
LeBron
fell
said,
behind
LeBron said they
3-1. They were
Joey,
down.
LeBron said they can, Shannon, he called me on the phone the other night. He said they can call me whatever they want to, as long as I don't answer to it. Call me what you want to. But he only answers to 4-time league MVP,
You know what?
3-time finals MVP.
I wasn't angry about the water bottle challenge, but it did sting a little bit because if he had done that while he was in Miami, oh my God. The sky would have fallen. It would have been the biggest
Pat
deal
Riley
in the
LeBron.
entire world.
Pat Riley would have probably tried
The
to
Heat
call
don't
him
take
in
it
there.
seriously, but I don't mind it though.
Pat Riley
He
would
deserved
probably
to do it
call him in
last
LeBron. We
night.
don't do that.
No mercy.
The 10-2 Raiders are on the road against the 9-3 Chiefs tonight. The Raiders are the top seed in the AFC, while Kansas City is only a game behind their rivals for first place in the AFC West. The Chiefs beat the Raiders in their first matchup in Week 6, 26-10. Shannon, before I ask you about the game tonight, Skip, you had something you wanted to share?
I do. I just got a text from our friend Derek Brooks, fellow Hall of Famer of Shannon Sharpe's, and he often sends out thoughts for the day in a spiritual vein, and this one said, and it hit home to me, "Dear Lord, help me to grow in gentleness, patience, and love toward others, even when we may have our differences." And I thought of my friend Shannon Sharpe, so I apologize for how difficult I've been so far today, and I'm going to take it down.
Aww, that's
I'm
very
very
sweet.
patient.
Derek.
I'm very patient.
Now, ask that question, Joy.
I pick
Ask
my
it.
spots when I bust Skip up on the red.
Is that what happens?
Yep.
Yeah.
Who will win tonight, Shannon?
I got the Chiefs. I've always felt that the home team on the Thursday night game has an advantage. Late in the season, they have a decided advantage because you're later in the year, your body's even more worn down than it was in the beginning.
I agree.
And I get what the NFL is trying to do. They're trying to minimize because you play all these games are division games. So you kind of know each other, you play each other all the time, so you kind of know what to expect, and it cuts down on the game plan preparation. But when you're talking about the travel that a team has to do to another venue, traveling once a week is fine, but when you play on a Sunday and then all of a sudden, when you normally fly on a Saturday, you're flying out on a Wednesday to go prepare for a Thursday game.
Yep.
That's asking an awful lot. And this Kansas City, outside of Mile High, it was my favorite place to play because there were 80,000 fans and they were all dressed in red. And it got loud. And the part that I love is that when you at the end of the Star Spangled Banner, they said, home of the Braves, they said home of the Chiefs. And it would just reverberate, and then the plane, the jets would fly over. It just you knew you had to bring your A game. Even last year during the 10-game winning streak that the Chiefs had to end the season and get into the playoffs, I don't believe they looked as good as they're looking right now. Alex Smith, I don't think played as well then as he's playing now. When you can go on the road, they've already beaten Oakland in Oakland. They go on the road down 14 points, 17-3 heading into the fourth quarter against Carolina, and somehow they find a way to win that game. You're down 8 with a little over 2 minutes in Denver against that defense. You find a way to score the touchdown and get the 2-point conversion, get it into overtime, and win that game. I've seen a lot from this football team. I've seen them grow week after week. D. Ford, who was leading the league in sacks before he got injured, he came back last week. 3 weeks ago, Justin Houston's come back, and he's been a monster since he's been in the lineup. They're number one in takeaways, number one in turnover margin. Skip, this is a very good football team. I think they're going to beat the Raiders at home 28-17 and take possession of the AFC West.
Okay. You make some very valid points. But I'm going to have to start calling you Check Down Shannon because you become the #1 Chiefs fan, right? This is a new deal, new bandwagon to leap aboard, right? So are you going to be at the parade in Kansas City when they throw the parade? Are you going to take selfies with Check Down Alex, right? And Tyreek and Justin Houston, and right?
Y'all two.
No,
Are y'all two in cahoots? Do y'all go over?
It's not y'all two. It's the whole audience is saying, "Oh, he's Check Down Shannon now."
Look, I said last week I felt that whoever won this game would win this division and would obviously, at worst case scenario, they're going to be the first or the second seed.
They are.
Whoever wins this ball game.
Yep.
I believe the Chiefs because they play at home. And for whatever reason, Derek Carr has not played particularly well when he's faced the Chiefs, either at home or on the road.
Yep.
And with the way the Chiefs are playing right now, they're a hot ball club.
I hear you. I have ridden with the Raiders from the start this year, and I'm going to ride with them tonight at Arrowhead. And I agree with you. This is it. I picked the Raiders to win the West. This game is going to be for the West.
Can we better do?
I'll get there in just a second, because once again, you're taking the prohibitive favorite here, and I'm taking the underdog on the road at a place that you know is really hard to win at. But I'll think about it.
But Skip,
okay?
You won't let me. You making me take the Giants?
Okay, let me finish my prediction, and then we'll get to that. Okay. I have told you all year that the Raiders remind me of the Cowboys, who remind me of the Raiders, because they're two teams with emerging young quarterbacks who have taken control of the franchise behind the two best offensive lines in football. Is that fair to say?
Very.
And it's also two teams here who are both 6-0 away from home, Cowboys and Raiders. So again, the Raiders have not lost away from Oakland. They won also, as you remember, in Mexico City. And now both teams, Cowboys and Raiders, have the opportunity to avenge an earlier defeat against a division rival at home. Obviously, Cowboys at Giants, and now Raiders at Chiefs. And you're right. Kansas City embarrassed Oakland in Oakland. That was the game 6. There's the Raiders' 6th game this year. And the Chiefs literally rained on the Raiders' parade that day, because it rained the whole game. And the Raiders played their worst game of the year. And Derek Carr was just awful. And Spencer Ware ran wild. 31 yards, ran it right down their throats, and it was 26-10. Wasn't even close. But now the Raiders have bounced back to win 6 in a row. They continue to come of age. And I'm going to boil my pick down to I'm taking Derek Carr against check down Alex Smith, because I'm not sure Alex Smith is playing at a higher level now. He's 11 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. He's lost 3 fumbles this year. He's 17th in QBR in the NFL. It's not great. And you're betting on that guy tonight, okay? You're also betting against Derek Carr when he gets to play against the Kansas City defense. And I'm going to remind you, just 2 games back, Sunday night in Denver, what did Trevor Siemian, the immortal Trevor Siemian, do to this Kansas City defense? You remember the 4th quarter and overtime, what Trevor Siemian did? He threw for 231 yards just in the 4th quarter and overtime. The immortal Trevor Siemian, 231 against this defense. And every time I looked up, number 23 for Kansas City, and I don't want to shame him here on Undisputed, but Philip Gaines. But every time I looked up, Philip Gaines was chasing another open receiver.
How do you say you don't want to shame the guy?
Well, I'm sorry,
Not only do you call his number, you call his name
23, Philip Gaines, Rice University.
But you don't want to shame him.
I'm sorry, but I can't help it. But that night I fell for him. I truly, from my heart,
No,
I
you
felt.
didn't.
Yes, I did. Even though I picked anyway, Kansas City to win that game. But it's
Exactly.
okay, I did. But again, that can be a little liability, and you don't think Derek Carr is salivating watching that film of that game when 231 for Trevor Siemian in the 4th quarter and overtime? And yes, the Raiders are 30th in the league in yards allowed, but the Chiefs are 29th in yards allowed, and the Raiders are 3rd in points scored. So I like that matchup. And you're right, Kansas City leads in the all-important turnover ratio, plus 14. The Raiders are 3rd in the NFL at plus 12, so I think that could even out. I like the matchup. I have loved this team all year. I like their chances tonight. I'm going to go Raiders 29 and the Fighting Shannons 26. 29-26.
So can I?
Well, that's who
can
they
we get a
are,
dupe?
right? Okay, but I need, you're going to also have to agree to bet a do on the game on Sunday night.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. I got to take the Giants, who's underdogs at home.
Okay, but that's a 50-50 bet. I'll do this bet if you'll do that bet.
But JPP isn't even playing.
I don't care. You know what?
Give me
Carl Joseph, the rookie starter at safety, cannot play for the Raiders tonight. He's a big deal. They changed the way they played defense.
Thursday night, and the Raiders are on the road.
Come on. You just told me Arrowhead's the toughest place to play in pro football.
Give me 3 points.
I'm not giving you nothing.
Skip,
Nothing.
against Washington, I gave you 4 points.
I'm taking that was your fault.
So,
It was. And I didn't need them.
But you took them.
Well, I'll take them. Well, why wouldn't I take them?
Give me 3.
Do versus do. Straight up. I'll take the hopeless underdog Raiders tonight at Arrowhead, and you take the Giants at home.
The Raiders are 9-2.
Listen,
They're the number 1 seed in the AFC. And you talk about their hope.
Think about this.
It's Thursday night. They're on the road.
And you just made the case for how hard it is to get ready to travel. on a short week, and now my Cowboys have to travel up to the Giants. So you're refusing bets at Chiefs and at Giants. Really?
Yeah, this bird seed for this parrot over here that keep repeating everything you say, Skip.
I'm just trying to emphasize the facts that you put out there.
Give me 3 points, Skip, in the Giants.
There's no points. I'm taking the underdog.
Skip.
I'm taking the hopeless underdog tonight, but you got to give me my Cowboys at the Giants. You love Eli. You say, hey, Eli owns Dallas. Didn't you say that?
Give me 3 points and you got a deal.
Oh, please.
3 points.
3 points.
Skip, your team is 11-1.
No bet. I'm taking. That's a good 50-50 bet. Case of do.
11-1 against a 7-5 team is a good bet.
The Chiefs? You're making the case. Yesterday you said the Chiefs are the best team in the AFC. That's what you said.
Skip.
What do you mean? How could you not take that bet? That's a done deal bet.
Oakland is 10-2.
The worst you can do on this is break even.
9-3.
That's the worst you can do is break even.
Okay, let's see. 10-2, 9-3. They're playing 7-5 versus 11-1. And you think that's 8-4? You think that's the same?
Yeah, I do. Because you tell me Eli owns the Cowboys, right? You were the one who went out on the limb last week. You said, Eli's going to get him. Eli's going to get him. That's all I heard last week. Put your do where your mouth is.
Answer me one question. Does Vanderbilt University have a mathematics department?
I don't know. I didn't take math.
Because
I'm sure they do.
Okay, so because if you think 10-2 and 9-3 is equal to 8-4 and 11-1, we're missing the boat here somewhere, Skip.
But it's circumstances of a team in Dallas that is owned by Eli Manning. That's what you told me. That's the word you used.
They've lost 6 or 7 in New York.
What are you afraid of, Shannon?
Come on.
Give me 3, Skip. I'll let you sleep on it tonight. I'll let you sleep on it.
But you got to make a bet for today, though.
We got a bet tonight.
Well, I said it's got to be a 50-50 bet, and then the worst you can do is break even.
There's something that happened this morning. I don't want to release that video. Joy has seen the video.
I did not say it was okay, just for the record. I have seen it.
There's a video about to be released. That's all I'm going to say. Healy has seen it.
You have to make the bet. I'm going to force you to do it.
What video is this?
There's a video, Skip.
Of you?
Yep.
Saying what?
Make the bet. Do it.
All right.
Yes.
I got a bet.
Yes.
You got a bet?
All right, we got it. All right.
Case of do, case of do.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
I got Oakland. I got Dallas.
Yep.
Straight up.
No mercy. The Warriors blew out the Clippers last night on the road by 17. Kevin Durant and Steph Curry combined for just 35 points, while Klay Thompson led Golden State with 24. It's the 7th straight win for the Warriors against the Clippers. We're joined by our NBA analyst, Chris Broussard. Christopher, you were at the game last night. What was your biggest takeaway?
Well, Skip, I feel you. Mm-hmm. I've been there before. They jump through the gym. They're shiny.
Yeah.
Blake Griffin's one of the greatest dunkers we've ever seen. DeAndre Jordan is a physical marvel. Chris Paul, one of the best floor generals the game has ever known. Mm-hmm. Doc Rivers, brilliant resume, plays the media like a harp. J.J. Redick, one of the best shooters in the league. Jay Crossover, shaking you up like he's at Rucker Park. You want to believe. They have it all, right? But they'll break your heart. And they're going to break your heart. Because there's no way.
Actually, I'm a Spurs fan, but that's okay.
This is your pick. Don't run from it now.
I'm not running from it.
Don't run from it.
No. I said
there's no way they can beat Golden State in a 7-game series. And the biggest thing is that they know it. They know it. You saw last night there was a team that's mentally tough, and there was a team that's not so much. And I say that because these teams don't like each other. Dating back to 2014 in that series.
Right.
Okay? And what does that do to the Warriors? That anger fuels them to play at their peak level. With the Clippers, they get so hyped up and so amped up that they start forcing things and not executing. Blake Griffin starts forcing stuff, has 7 turnovers last night. His shots are long or short. He's missing shots he normally makes. J.J. Redick is not a factor against them because Klay is just too big, too long. They don't even have to guard Baamute or DeAndre Jordan. So a lot of times it's 3-on-5 or Doc has to get Baamute out of there, his best defender, and go with Austin or Jamal Crawford. Right. And it's just a terrible matchup for them. And then they're in their heads. 7 straight losses, as you said. They know they can't beat them. They could beat the Spurs, I believe. They could give Cleveland a tough series, but they can't play with the Warriors. And that's the problem.
And we're talking about the same Clippers who just a week ago went to Cleveland and won 113-94. So I feel you on that one, too.
Yeah, I mean, Cleveland, irrelevant.
And by the way, I also feel you on, do you remember what happened before that draft, Blake Griffin versus Steph Curry, when I told you I would take Steph #1 overall? Everybody on the old show laughed at me. I've never liked Blake Griffin, but I thought it was his year, as talented as he is, to rise up along with Chris Paul and DeAndre and that new bench that they have and walk through a slightly cracked open door, because I thought it was going to take Golden State a while to assimilate Kevin Durant. I don't know. Last night, I didn't like the Warriors on offense because you will never see them shoot the ball any more poorly in a big stage game against a contender than they did last night. So maybe the anger that they were fueling was only on the defensive end, because they took it up to an elite level on the other end of the floor, which I did not see coming. But if you told me, as I said to Shannon earlier in the show, sitting here yesterday, that Klay Thompson coming off scoring 60 would miss his first 5 shots, I'd say advantage Clippers. And if you told me that Steph Curry would go 0 for 8 from 3, I'd say, got it, right?
Yep.
If you told me Kevin Durant would go 1 for 6 from 3 and 5 for 17 and miss an early dunk where he just threw it off the back iron and it went in the 4th row, I'd say, we got this one, those Clippers at Staples, right?
Yeah.
And if you'd even told me that the Clippers would outscore Golden State over the final 3 quarters by 1 point, I'd say, they'll be just fine tonight. Nope, it was over before the first quarter was over, because my man Blake Griffin from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, University of Oklahoma, he turned it over 5 times in the first 6.5 minutes. Do you know what pace of turnovers that is? That's on pace to set the all-time record, to shatter the all-time record.
Probably for 4 games.
Well, for 4 games, because Jason Kidd's got the 1-game record of 14, and if you have 5 in the first 6.5 minutes, I couldn't recognize him. And maybe to your point, he's just trying to do things that are completely out of control.
And don't you think Draymond's?
Well, I know Draymond got way in his head, but I was covering my eyes saying, who are you and what are you trying to do? Because every time you turn it over against this team, they don't have to shoot threes. They shoot layup line. It's just
That's what it was.
pass, layup. I'm talking about right-handed layups at the rim, right?
Yep.
Well, if you keep doing that, you're going to lose the first quarter 37-18, which they did, and it was game over. I don't know if the stage was too big for them, but I agree with you. That was horrendous for the psyche of the Clippers, who had a huge win. And I kept telling Shannon, they'll point to certain games. They pointed to LeBron, and they took care of that one. And they pointed to this one, and they got annihilated on their home floor, and it's a huge psychological setback for this team. And you're probably right. Today, they don't think they can handle this other team, but the other team has to have some doubts about the way it shot the basketball, because if you catch them on that night, the Spurs would have won that game.
Don't you think, though, that makes Golden State even more confident? That we didn't even, our 2 best players didn't even play well. None of our 3 stars shot over 50%, and we still waxed them.
And J.J. Redick scored 21 against LeBron and company in the first half. 21 in the first half, and Steph Curry did a number on him. He couldn't get a shot up. He scores 2 for the game. Come on. That's embarrassing. That's like go home stuff.
And without Redick getting 15 to 20, without Jay Crossover getting his 20, Bob Muto, you got to give them something. Because here's the thing.
Every time he shot it, I was just
that's
like,
not his
what?
thing. And Jay Crossover and Maurice Spates played pretty well.
They did. Yeah.
But they played more minutes than they probably normally would play because their starters were not doing anything.
Exactly.
When Blake Griffin only gives you what he gives you, and CP3 didn't give you a whole lot last night, you can't beat this team. I agree with you. They're more confident because they're like, do you actually think, even in a 7-game series, you think we're going to have 7 games where we shoot this bad? If they shoot anything close to what they don't have to shoot their career averages as far as percentage. If they shoot even close, this is a 30-point loss for the Clippers. The Clippers do not match up with them at any spot. The only spot they could possibly match up is Jordan and Pachulia. That's it. Other than that, they match up nowhere else. They don't match up. It just doesn't equate. The best thing they can hope for is that they get a seed where they don't have to see Golden State in the second round. The Spurs get to see the Golden State in the second round. They knock off Golden State, and then they take the Spurs down. Well, Other than that, they got no chance. They're not beat. They get swept. They would get swept in a 4-game series.
From what you saw last night, Would you give LeBron any chance against this
Yes!
Golden State team?
Yes!
Because of what?
You know why? I think the formula for beating Golden State is getting physical and being able to expose their finesse play. Your Spurs, we saw it in the game. I know that was game 1 and, the Warriors weren't themselves. But still, that's the way you have to beat them. If DeAndre Jordan had any type of post, and I know he doesn't, but if he did, they had Draymond Green guarding him at times. That's like half a foot difference. He should not be able to guard DeAndre Jordan, and you have to make them pay for that. But he can't because he doesn't have any offensive post game. Or even put Blake. Can Blake take him down on the block? No, they can't punish them and get physical with him. I think they'd have to muck it up and make it ugly.
We got one
but
thing
they can't.
nobody else has in the NBA. He wears number 23. And as long as you got 23.
You know what? As long as you got a bench that can make 11 threes to your starters 11 and you have 22 for a game, you're going to win a lot of games. You know what? They should just take off the rest of the year in the East and just let the backups play the rest of the way.
Like Alabama in the college football playoff?
Yeah, just let the backups play, and then at least LeBron would be rested for Golden State.
But you must make Steph Curry work. And Chris Paul doesn't make him work. Kyrie makes Steph Curry works. So if you put Clay on Kyrie, so what you want what you call him guarding J.R. Smith or Shumpert? You still look. I know you love KD, but KD don't want to see Bron in the finals.
Hey,
no, that's his tough matchup for him.
They don't want to see Bron.
Yeah, but he's got some new guys riding shotgun.
I mean,
this
I
time.
pick Golden State.
This is different.
I think Golden State will beat him, but Cleveland's got a shot because LeBron can control tempo.
Shannon, Golden State did not play very well in the first 4 games of that finals last year, and they were up 3-1, and Draymond got suspended, and Bogut got hurt, and things changed. And LeBron was great in games 5, 6, and 7, but unless you can tell me right now that Draymond will get suspended for a game 5, I don't see how Cleveland can play with this group.
So you think it's just
from what I saw last night?
This is the NBA's worst nightmare then.
It is.
That this team is what we thought they would be. I think Cleveland's got a shot, but I pick the Warriors.
You notice he always says Draymond got suspended and Bogut got hurt. He never mentioned Kyrie broke his kneecap in the first game. Kevin Love didn't play.
I say it all the time.
No, I didn't hear
That's
you say
true.
that.
The year before.
LeBron, the king of kings, was up 2-1 with game 4 in his house. I'm going back 2 years ago, and just completely disappeared.
How many teams?
Where were his guns, though? Like you said, Kyrie wasn't there.
LeBron James.
Okay,
he doesn't
I don't
need
care
any
who
guns.
he is. Oh, yeah.
So let me ask you a question.
Everybody, Jordan
He's his own
needed
guns.
Pippen.
Hey,
He's
Jordan
got these
needed
guns,
Pippen,
right?
All right,
He's got
everybody
the gun
needs
show.
somebody.
How many teams have come back from 2-1 in the finals? A bunch. How many have come down from 3-1? Oh, a 73-9 team with the 2-time
Cleveland
MVP.
is playing well. Don't read into that loss to the Clippers.
Don't read it.
Cleveland doesn't care.
You know what? I'll say the same.
You really taking that
last
loss
night?
seriously?
I'm not going to read anything into this Clippers loss because it's only early December.
But there's a history here. That's what I would. If this was just one game and last year they split in the regular season, I wouldn't make as big of a deal. But this is a pattern.
They haven't beat the
over
Warriors
again.
since Christmas 2014.
It's a long season.
And you watch what happened this Christmas. Somebody got to come see the king.
I would let Skip change his pick. Will you?
No, what?
You still
Have I ever
the
changed
Clippers?
the pick in the history?
Because I already know what.
Skip doesn't change picks.
You know they're not winning.
I bet
us
LeBron opened
conviction.
up a package of you know what on Golden State.
No mercy. The Cowboys
Hey,
head to
Tudo.
New York to play the Giants Sunday night. The Cowboys have the best record in the NFL at 11-1, but their only loss came against the Giants by 1 point in Week 1. Dallas's 11-game winning streak started after that game, but it's still on Dak Prescott's mind. Let's take a listen.
I'm looking forward to a lot. I mean, personally, and then I know this team. They're the only blemish on our record right now. And just to be able to go up there at their place to do what they did us first game, we're excited for the opportunity.
Skip, what do you make of Dak's comments?
What was the team that beat the Cowboys? Who was the team that beat the Cowboys?
Giants against everyone.
Giants against everyone on opening day against a 4th-round rookie who got thrown into the fire against a division rival in place of Tony Romo and played well enough to win the game that they lost 20-19 because Terrence Williams failed to run out of bounds with the final pass that was completed to him that would have set up a 58-yard field goal that would have been made by Dan Bailey. Case closed. Over. Thank you.
I played well enough to get into a D1 school. My grades wouldn't allow that. So either I did or I didn't. Which was it?
Dak has high IQ and makes great grades.
Did they win?
Yeah. They did not
Okay,
win.
that's all we know.
Will they get revenge? Yes, they will. And I can't tell you how much I love this kid who's become a 23-year-old man-child.
A grown
I said
man.
yesterday, I did not love him and Zeke spraying champagne in the club late on Monday night, but he redeemed himself with those comments that I heard yesterday. Dak can walk that fine line between being extremely confident and getting a little too cocky too soon. And he never comes off that way to me because he always sends the right message to his locker room that he's in complete control and command of himself and the huddle and ultimately the football team. And he doesn't have to do what a Kirk Cousins constantly does. He doesn't have to scream, "You like that?" or "How you like me now?" Because he doesn't need validation from the media or from his owner, general manager, Jerry Jones, who still doesn't sound as if he's sold on Dak Prescott. And I don't think Dak cares one bit about it. So Dak said to the Giants, "I know this team." And he said it with such conviction that I believe he knows this team inside and out. And he said he now shakes his head as he looks back at the film of opening day at how many indecisions he made where he didn't trust the read. And he made me believe that he now knows the reads and will trust the reads. And he said that the Giants are the only blemish, sending the message that we now have the opportunity to go up there, and I loved how he said it, do to them what they did to us in our place on opening day, and what a great opportunity it is, and it is a great opportunity. And once again, just those comments we heard are exactly why I have come to trust Dak Prescott and his ability to back up his comments in ways I never, ever trusted Tony Romo. Your thoughts?
I love his comments. He should be confident. He's playing on the best team, or what you think is the best team in football right now. They're 11-1.
I think you think it too, but that's okay.
He's proven he can handle the pressure. Because if you look at, I can assure you, the game plan that they had in game 1 is totally different than the game plan they had in game 5, the game plan they had in game 9, and the game plan they had last week. Because of him growing. That first game, Skip, they probably said, look, minimal opportunity to throw the ball because there was a lot of check downs. We're not going to allow you to put the ball in harm's way. We feel that we're going to play good enough, run the football. You don't turn it over, we'll have a chance to win the ball.
And by the way, Zeke didn't have a big game. He had, 51 yards?
Yes. And so, but now, given what he's been able to do as the starter, going on the road and beating Pittsburgh, coming from behind to beat the Eagles, and to play a very tough physical team in Minnesota on the road, he's shown you that whatever the Cowboys offensive personnel can put on his plate, he's more than comfortable in handling. And so with that being said, but his job is really easy, Skip, because everybody goes into the game trying to stop 21. I know you love Zach, and he's played well. Dak, and he's played well, and rightfully so. But you must stop Zeke first. He's throwing into non-exotic coverages because somehow, some way, they got to get that 8th guy down. They got to, because the line is so good, they're just mopping the floor with your front 7. So you got to drop that safety down. He knows that. All he has to do is be accurate now. And if he can do that, he's throwing one-on-one with Dez, he's throwing one-on-one with Beasley, Bryce Butler, or Terrence Williams, Jason Witten, who I feel bad for. His streak of 130 straight games.
You don't feel bad.
I do really feel bad.
You do?
Because I had a 60-game streak one time going.
Now it's all about you again.
Yeah, I had 60 games, and I was really upset.
If only Jason Witten knew how much you compete with him.
I wasn't.
So wait a second. You had to interject that you feel bad for Jason Witten, and you tried to stress that this is genuine. You feel.
I do.
Just so that you could mention that you had a 60-game streak.
But Skip, when they happen, it hurts. Because you know how much you put into it. You go out there every week and you want to compete. And I'm sure there are times that Jason didn't think he could play, or maybe he shouldn't have played. I'm sure he's probably taking some injections to get out there and be able to play. And to catch one pass or two passes, and here he was, he's healthy.
Okay, so but remember, Jason Witten is late in his career, and unlike Shannon Sharpe, he has no rings at this point, and he has a chance. I'm not saying it's any done deal, but he knows he has a chance to win his first and maybe last ring late in his career. So I don't think he cares at all that his streak ended.
It does. It bothers him. Because, you know.
My team isn't a selfish team. It's not self-centered like.
I'm just telling you how I'm telling you how athletes think, Skip. They do care. You remember when Jerry had his streak broken? And I think
even Jerry Jones had his streak broken.
No,
I wonder
Jerry,
what streak that was.
I think Jerry had like a 200. He has the record. Now, I don't know if it's going to be broken. I mean, he went like 19, almost into his 20th season with a catch. And I don't think he's spoken. I think North, who was the head coach at the time? The one
when Jerry was at Oakland.
At Oakland. Who was the head coach then?
Well, which year?
The O-line coach. The O-line coach that's at Washington.
Callahan.
Bill Callahan.
Yeah.
I don't think he's spoken to Bill Callahan since. Because he said, you know, well, I didn't know he had, look.
I mean, Rich Gannon was sort of his own offensive coordinator, but go ahead.
But you know what, Skip? You know, guys know where they are in certain situations. And Jerry felt, but I do feel bad for Jason because I know he puts it out there on the line every time. And, you know, I give him a hard time about the way he runs. But it's not easy as you're getting older. And, you know, you're closer to the end than you are the beginning.
Sure.
And it seems like the championships are getting further and further away. But this might be his last best chance to get one. And it bothers him a little bit. But I'm sure, like he said, I would rather take the win as opposed to having a catch and the loss. That just goes to show you where he is. But I love Dak's comment. I don't think it's cocky. I love the fact that he says, look, we know who we are. We know what they did to us. And we just want to go up there and repay the favor.
Correct.
And come on back home and get ready for our next opponent.
Okay, so bottom line, what you just heard from Odell and then heard from Dak, does it make you doubt your early pick on this game of Eli's Giants? I'm giving you the opportunity right now on Thursday before our Friday picks to back off and do what you often do and jump off that bandwagon.
So JPP doesn't even matter?
I don't care. It's your problem. It's not my problem.
Oh,
he's out.
You're happy about that, aren't you?
Well, sure. I'm not happy he's hurt, but I'm happy he can't play. Well, sure. He's their best pass rusher,
you know what?
I guess.
No, Olivier Vernon.
He probably is. Yeah. Although, I don't know, JPP's been wreaking some havoc.
But you know what, Skip? You keep poking me. You keep jugging and trying to egg me on.
I give you an opportunity to back off and reverse field.
No, tomorrow is when we will pick this game.
Well, I'm giving you a chance to go.
I don't want no chance.
Huh? You picked it last week.
You did. You were out there saying Eli's going to get.
No. But I thought they were going to have all their pieces in place. I didn't think JPP was going to
maybe a little waffle I hear early in the morning.
I don't even eat waffle.
You want a little syrup?
I don't eat waffle fries. There ain't no waffling going on with me.
I don't know.
No mercy. Our next guest was a two-time All-Star, Baron Davis. Welcome to Undisputed.
Wow.
You have a company now called Black Santa. I see you have the shirt on and the Black Santa hat. I love the logo, by the way. So tell us a little bit about it.
Well, first I brought some gifts. Our ugly sweater.
Awesome.
That's for you, Shannon.
That's for you.
Okay.
Yeah, enjoy. This is our hoodie.
Black Santa hoodie.
Yeah.
You hold it up in the back. It got the B25.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Jersey hoodie.
Thank you, Baron.
And then for you, Skip,
cool.
Obviously the ugly sweater. You can rock that at your cool holiday parties.
I love it. Thank you.
Skip needs a small sweater, though. He only
Or
weighs
maybe it's the reverse. What's that, XL?
So it's on blacksanta.com. Tell us a little bit about the company.
Yeah, this is XL.
Yeah.
Switch that.
There we go.
Don't mess up the notes.
So the company was started to basically give positivity and storytelling to culturally diverse characters, and the thought around Black Santa was, we wanted to have a character that African Americans can relate to and minorities can relate to that sees the world in a different space.
And once upon a time on a Halloween, you chose to dress up as
Black Santa.
Black Santa. And what happened? What response?
One, I didn't want to go to the party, and then I wound up being, the head of the party, and people were, talking to me, consoling, crying, asking for things, and, whether it was a joke or it was funny, it became like, kind of like a social engaging. It was fun and it was social, and so the next day I was like, hey, man, I need to trademark Black Santa in my business partner.
What was the racial makeup of the party? Do you remember?
It was pretty much 95% white and 5% minority. So, the response was crazy. And then going through it, you want to make a movie. I wanted to make a movie, and so you just kept butting my head up against producers and storylines about, Black being bad. And, it wasn't the story that I wanted to convey. So, I figure I come with the Black Santa company, create the characters, and have the characters speak to the world. And, talk about the joy of giving, the magic of good, the positivity, and all of this.
That's a great thing that you're doing. And you can check it out on blacksanta.com. I'm going to get some wrapping paper.
Nice.
Speaking of Black Santa, I'm sure you've heard about the uproar that's going on in Minneapolis about the black gentleman. He was I think a Marine vet or Army vet. I think he was a military vet.
Yep.
He dressed up as Santa, and he's gotten a lot of blowback. What do you think about that?
I don't like it. He's a Santa Claus.
Right.
So, and it's someone who's bringing joy to kids, is bringing community together. A lot of times I think as a country and as a nation, we get caught up in, a lot of the black-white and what that means instead of, looking at the opportunity that we have to, come together to touch lives, because we all, look at this stage. It's a diverse crew. So the world is reflecting diversity, and I think that people are still trying to, drive wedges between, race and things like that.
So when you guys were growing up, did you ever go to a mall and stand in line to see a white Santa?
I never went to a mall to see a
Okay.
Santa Claus period.
Okay,
So,
So-
it was always Santa
So
Claus.
this is probably my naive point of view, but many times over the holidays in the past, I've walked past a long line. I've never had kids before, so I never stood in the line, but I would see an occasional black family standing in the, wrap around the mall line to see the white Santa. And I would think, what do they think of that? What deep down, it's just we're all sort of socialized to think that Santa would just have to be white. So give me your thoughts on that. Did you ever?
For me, if I wanted my kids, I'm not going to drive all around and try to find a particular Santa Claus. I mean, my kids want to take a picture, and I want to get a picture of them taken with Santa Claus. And so if I have to wait and the Santa Claus is white, well, that's what I'm going to do. But if the Santa Claus is black, I would have no problem waiting and have my kids to take a picture on his lap. It's just, I just think that sometimes that we get so caught up in that but we do want to see superheroes and Santa Claus. We want it to be reflective of us, because it's been made that only whites are superheroes. Only white can be Santa Claus. Only whites can be good. And they, like you said, black is bad, and we don't really see things that are reflective of us. And this population of America is growing more diverse.
It is.
The Hispanic community is growing.
Yep.
The LGBT community is growing. So you're going to have diversity, and you're going to have characters that's very representative of the growing diversity in America.
Absolutely.
I totally agree. I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. I think that, really it's important for, in order to stop the killing, in order to stop the senseless behavior that happens that, allows us to go from school to prisons, we have to see ourselves in a positive way. And, once we're able to do that through characters, through storytelling, through wish fulfillment, through mentors and things like that, we want to build that community, because it all starts when you plant the seed. And so if you start planting seeds of positivity, you start planting seeds of storytelling, and these kids can reflect that, and then also see the people in their path. It gives them an opportunity to do better.
Yeah, they can see themselves as positive and go into that. It's a great thing that you're doing. And again, you can check it out on blacksanta.com. All right, let's talk some NBA. One of the best point guards in the NBA today, Russell Westbrook, is averaging a triple-double this season. He currently has 6 straight triple-doubles, the longest streak since Michael Jordan's 7 in 1989. Yesterday, LeBron James was asked if Westbrook could average a triple-double all season. Let's take a listen.
Westbrook can do it. He's capable of doing it. He's showing it. He's like the Energizer Bunny, man. He doesn't get tired. He doesn't get tired, and when he had that passion for the game too as well. That it's very doable. The game has definitely changed a little bit more. It's almost feeling like back in like the 80s, when teams were putting up 145 and 135s and, more possessions and more shot attempts. Obviously, they weren't shooting as many threes, but it was a lot of possessions. And so, with that being said, with his athleticism, him being able to go get those rebounds, he handles the ball for the majority of the game for OKC, so he's going to get the assists. And I think he's averaging 9 free throws a game. I mean, he's going to make 7 or 8 of those a game, and obviously he's going to get a 1 bucket. He's going to get 10 points. That's the easy thing for him, and so it's very doable.
Baron, can Westbrook keep this up?
Absolutely. You know, when you look at his role with that team, he's Mr. Do Everything. You know, I think it's designed by the way that they play, the way he gets rebounds, because, you know, he is the best rebounder and the fast break. Without the big man getting the rebound and outletting it to him, it's faster for him to get it and the big guys to trail. And, you know, who's going to stop him offensively? And, you know, if you do stop him offensively, he has other people on the team that's going to allow him his playmaking skills that are going to allow him to get the assist. So I think that, you know, he's routine and the team is conditioned in routine to play that style that allows him to get the rebounds. And I think that's the hardest thing for a guard. And he's one of the best rebounding guards ever.
And obviously you and Russ both went to UCLA.
You know it.
and you have some feel, you know him a little bit off the court. Give us your insight into what makes him tick, what drives him, what fuels him the way he's fueled.
I think for him being the underdog, I think that he always had a chip on his shoulder. He was overlooked in high school. You know, he didn't make the McDonald's All-American. He was overlooked in college. You know, people didn't think that he would mature and become who he is. And now he's up against, you know, the superpowers. So for him, he's going to always carry that chip. You know, I liken him to Michael Jordan, you know, just because of his competitive fire and nature and, you know, it's him against anybody, him against the world mentality. So, you know, I think he's great. I think he's going to be great, and that chip is what's going to continue to drive him.
How much freer is he that now that KD is in Golden State and he gets an opportunity to showcase his full arsenal? Because I thought he could be good without KD. I didn't see this.
Well, you know, I expected him to level up.
Right.
And, you know, that's exactly what he did. You know, when not having KD there, you know, he doesn't really have to answer to a compliment. I think the team is going to be complimentary to what he's doing. And so that's going to allow him to have the ball more. Now, you know, there's no doubt who should be taking the last shot. There's no doubt who should be making the plays. And so that's another 10 to 15 possessions that he's going to have the ball in his hand for the game.
So you were a scoring point guard, and I checked your first full year starting in Charlotte, you averaged 5 rebounds a game, which is pretty good actually for a guy your size. What do you say, 6'2",
6'2",
right?
yeah.
And what do we say Russ is? I don't know. Is he 6'3", maybe?
Maybe 6'3". I was thinking 6'2".
Have you stood next to him and
Yeah,
said,
he's tall. Yeah, 6'3" for sure.
6'3",
yeah,
okay.
for sure.
But when this little man, comparatively, is getting 18 rebounds, 17 rebounds, averaging 11 rebounds, I've never seen anything like that. And to me, I've always been taught that rebounding is mostly desire. You know, do you want the ball worse than that guy wants the ball? He wants every ball that's either loose on the floor or loose up high, he's going to attack the basketball, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's his energy, you know. When he's out there, you know, people say he plays like a man possessed, but, you know, the ball goes up, he's trying to get tip dunks. He doesn't see himself as a little man.
He doesn't.
You know, he sees himself as a player, a playmaker, and somebody who, if there's a rebound, he can out-jump pretty much 90% of the guys on the court. So,
He can't,
you know,
no
that's
matter
his
their
rebound.
size.
Yeah,
That's
for
correct.
sure.
Yeah.
I think if he were to ever get 20, if I ever see a guy his size get 20 rebounds in the game, I'm done, Skip.
We'll
I mean,
see.
you got that-
He'll do it.
yeah,
He'll do it for
I'm
sure.
done. Skip, I'm out.
Possible.
A 6'3" guard get 20 rebounds in a game.
Well, he's come close.
I
man.
know that's what I'm going to be out, Skip, because then I'm going to say, well, he's going to average a triple-double because he can legitimately get, you know, I think Wilt's the only guy that's ever got 20, 20, and 20. 20 rebounds, 20 assists, and 20 points.
But again, so many more possessions.
Right.
Yeah.
But look how tall Wilt was. Wilt was 7'1".
7'1".
You're talking about a 6'3" guard that's going to have to climb over a couple of 7'1s and a couple of 6'10s to grab rebounds.
Right.
So if he were to do that, he's going to do it. I'm in awe every time I see him. I still don't believe what I'm seeing because I wasn't alive when Oscar averaged, you know, triple-doubles of 30, 11, and 10. But to actually see this guy do it, and you see him do it every single night, you're just like, well, one night he's going to just show up to the arena and he's just not going to feel it.
And Oscar was a small forward, top
Right.
6'5"-ish, and was played cool, nonchalantly, like he's the complete flip side of what you're seeing with Russell.
Yeah. And so to see him do it night in and night out, his energy level never seems to taper off. Whether it's the first quarter or the fourth quarter or the game and a back-to-back, he's the same.
Yeah, he lives to play. He loves to play. And, you know, he shows up for each and every game, so you gotta love him.
No mercy. This is the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast, where we're delivering you an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the biggest topics of the day's show. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, like us on Facebook at Undisputed on FS1, follow on Twitter at Undisputed, and catch us at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, Monday through Friday on FS1. You can find us on channel 219 on DirecTV, 150 on Dish. Thanks for listening. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. We're back tomorrow. We will see you guys on Friday.
Fox Sports, one of one.